Welcome to Trust Your Inner Sense with Joanne Starkman podcast. I'm Joanne Starkman, and I look forward to going on this collaborative journey with you to ignite inspiration, inspire self-discovery, and instill new meaning in life. I'm excited to host a wonderful array of guests, including innovators, creatives, expert coaches, teachers, and much, much more who come together to share their stories. Each episode reveals how they've embraced their inner sense to pursue their passions and shine their unique lights in the world. We'll have thought-provoking discussions and chat about tools that will provide fresh perspectives to help you create a joyful and meaningful life. As founder and chief visionary officer of award-winning hair care brand Inner Sense Organic Beauty, I am also an avid meditator, platform artist, author, and mother of a special needs young adult. Over 20 years ago, I intentionally brought mindfulness to morning routines by authoring each affirmation on Inner Sense Organic Beauty's products, which we call Innerflections. You can check them out on the back of the bottle. It's my goal to have this podcast to be your warm and compassionate companion, whether you're on a journey for deeper meaning, seeking greater joy, or in need of love and healing. Let's continue our journey of self-discovery, self-care, and self-love. I'm so glad you're here. Let's dive into this week's Trust Your Inner Sense episode now. Hello, friends, and welcome. I'm super excited to have you here today, and I'm super excited for you to meet this most amazing woman that I am so honored to call friend and business partner and, fellow stylist. And I'm just so excited for you to get to know her. So with much, much pleasure and joy in my heart, I introduce you to Wafaya, who is the owner of Oasis in Baltimore, Maryland, right?
Rockville, Maryland.
Rockville, Maryland. Thank you. So, Wafaya, hi. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm super excited to have you on. And I know there's so many things that we want to kind of dig into and unpack, but I think the first thing I want to do is just, give you the opportunity to talk a little bit about yourself and who you are and what you do, because I did a really poor job of your introduction. I'm going to be working on that. But yeah, so just tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you. I thought you did a great job, and I'm very humbled and honored with that lovely introduction. I really appreciate it. So yes, my name is Wafaya Abdallah. I own Oasis. It's a curly hair centric salon in Rockville, Maryland. It's a suburb of Washington, D.C. And it's very fortunate that we live in an incredibly diverse area. And having a salon represent what we want to see in the world, which is inclusion and diversity, is such a beautiful place to be in my life, and it's how I've always seen the world. And it's so funny because you said, tell us who you are. And I've done a lot of deep work. So who I am is not that, right?
Right, course. Of course.
So who I am is simply a being that is a student of life on this earth school that we're occupying, and someone who's extremely curious and loves to understand all the depths of the human experience.
Oh, I love that. I can totally resonate with that. And I know definitely for those of us that do kind of spend a lot of time to reflect on those things, the who you are thing is just so insignificant when we think about the vastness of where we've come from and the journey that we're on, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So again, there's so many things that I want to dig into, but one of the things that I think we connect on a lot of things, right, Wafaya? I think we are definitely kindred spirits. And the more that I get to know you, the more that I feel like, oh my goodness, we're into the same things. And it's just always so fun to be with you. What inspired your path, to holistic beauty and working with curls? And can you tell us a little bit about your journey to where you are now?
Yeah, I always point to the same place where it started. It's when, at the age of 5, my family immigrated from Egypt to Charlotte, North Carolina. It's 1970, and it's a time where they were busing Black kids to white schools for integration. And here comes this brown girl. And I just remember in kindergarten this one moment that keeps coming up for me where two Black girls came to the playground and kind of looked at me curiously, and they're like, "What are you? Are you Black or are you white?" And my first thought was, I don't know. My second was, is that all there is? And then after that, even at the age of 5, I thought, wow, they don't really know there's another world out there. I had just come from Alexandria, Egypt, to Cairo, to Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris, France, to New York, to JFK, to this little town in 1970. And I felt just on that trip, I had seen this world filled with fascinating people and places. And to come to a place and be asked if I was one thing or the other. And so even at the age of 5, recognizing that there's more beyond, right? I think it was Malcolm X who said that. There's more beyond. And so in growing up, I thought I was going to go to law school and fight for justice and the underdog. And I needed a job to pay for law school. And it needed to be a stress-free job that was fun. And when I got real with myself, I thought, wow, I've always done everyone's hair and makeup. It's what I look for in movies. It's what I just instantly go to. And so I realized I could go to beauty school and have a certificate and a job in a year. And so I went. And the minute I started, I thought, oh no, I'm home. And so what led to Curly is, again, just always being a seeker and open to the guidance of the universe. Well, I had just bought the business and didn't really like the ugly side of the beauty business. And so I was going down the team-based business model and was really trying to find, like, okay, so we have this team-based thing, which sets up the business structure well, but how are we going to get clients in the door? You know, I paid a hefty price for this company, and then as I went team-based, quickly a lot of people kind of trickled out. And it's like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And again, I just got a hold of a book called The Secret. And even though I didn't feel it, I was like, I'm going to find a way to feel grateful. I'm going to find a way to stay open. And I'm going to understand that my success does not rely on other people's failure. I don't have to be mean and nasty in this space and competition with businesses. And as I just kind of trusted and took it one day at a time, Curly appeared. And I wasn't even knowing what all was going on. But once we got some products in and a book, people just started walking in off the street. And so when the universe is guiding, you pay attention. And so that's how we came to be a Curly salon.
Oh, absolutely. That's amazing. Well, for those listeners out there that don't really understand what team based is, do you want to kind of just give a real brief explanation of what a team based? Because I would imagine a lot of stylists would understand that terminology, but there might be some people out there that don't really, the beauty industry we're such a unique industry, right? And so a lot of people don't really understand how the industry really works in that regard. Could you explain real briefly? We don't need to unpack that, but I just thought that might be a nice point of learning for people.
Yeah, so it's about business model, and traditionally we're either commission or chair or booth rental. And it's so funny that in a very innovative industry, our business organization can be one of the most archaic things. But team-based simply means you bring people in, you give them a salary, a guaranteed income, and the way they grow, and you don't have to build your book. The Salon has clientele. We share, and it guarantees an income and allows for growth opportunities where you don't necessarily have to cut hair behind the chair. Maybe you're showing interest in leadership or training. You could do that. And the growth in wages is increased by your attitude and behaviors and not how much hair you're doing. Mm-hmm. And so it's just a very beautiful, we rise together. So it's just a beautiful business model. And people end up making quite a bit of money and much faster.
That's amazing. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Well, what I know of you is your commitment to team and rising together and, which really kind of includes integrative practices. You're definitely not the average salon environment and commitment to mindfulness. And I was just wondering, like, was there one pivotal moment? I mean, you did talk about obviously coming from Egypt as a child, but from the standpoint of really your commitment to mindfulness practices and your integrative practices, could you tell me a little bit about the turning point for that for you? Because I would assume you didn't step into the industry with all of that kind of on board.
No, I didn't know the terms for it, right? When you're kind of uh, spiritually curious, you're kind of always in that realm, but I didn't necessarily have words or understand there were disciplines around it. But the real turning point was the pandemic. I mean, I had time on my hands,
Right.
and it was such a beautiful time to go inward. And I'd always been really curious. I'd meditated and done things here and there, but I thought, wow, I finally have time to really practice good health. Because I
Hmm.
knew, when you watch the masses do something, you just consider it, right? Like everybody's like, oh my God, we're all going to die. And I was thinking to myself, well, if that's the case, which we are eventually, I'd really like to die happy. And I don't want to spend it being in this panic.
Right.
Um, and at the same time that I got very into meditation, one of my sons, I have three sons, our middle son, who is this incredibly intelligent, straight A, 4.4 GPA, not even 4.0, which here in Maryland is like all A's plus, this brilliant mind, start to experience psychosis and mania during the pandemic.
Mm.
And to be in that kind of have practiced mindfulness and meditation, different kinds of meditative practices, and go through that as a mother, it's such a hard journey to go through. And where the meditation and the mindfulness helped is, we had a mask on. So every time we were in the emergency room with him or whatever, and during, COVID, I was like always looking for the deeper meaning. I have this mask on, so I am not to speak. There's nothing I can do here. There are powers greater than me who are in charge. I am to bear witness, and I'm to hold space for this young man and help him navigate this difficult journey. And so between the pandemic and the mental illness organization, you see how so much of what we take as healthcare is flawed. And just, again, doing research and trying to understand more about the body and our existence, you start to see there's so much more. There's so much more than meets the eye. Helping him also come into that awareness. Mental illness is the bastard child of healthcare. No one wants to talk about it. In this area, all the mental hospitals were shut down. So, and a lot of the people who are houseless are experiencing often some kind of mental imbalance, and our society just wants to sweep it under the rug, and we don't have to. And so
Yeah.
that's how I came to it. And then ever since, it's just been growing more and more and more and more.
That's incredible. You do so much for those that step into your salon space. It's pretty incredible, Wafaya. And, just hearing how you've helped your son and how holding space, I think people, take that for granted. And so it's nice that you underline that and recognize that for yourself and how you could do that for your son. That's pretty. This is a great segue because May happens to be Mental Health Awareness Month. And so, I think it's an important topic, and I don't have a lot of expertise in the area. And so I'm so thankful to have you on to be able to have the conversation so I can learn a little bit more and hopefully have our listeners learn a little bit more. So, let's face it, we as stylists, we have to hold space for our clients behind the chair. And so I'm wondering for you, how do you support yourself behind the chair? Because I know as a young stylist, for sure, I was not even aware that I was, quote unquote, having to do that for my clients. And, as we get older and we start to become more aware and start to become more mindful. Now, of course, the youth of today is way more mindful, I feel, than I was back then. How do you do it for yourself? And what would you tell a young stylist coming into the industry that maybe wasn't even aware that was going to be part of the job?
Yeah, such a deep and wide issue, but we'll keep it to, what we can share in this time. So much really of the secret to life and existence is self-love, and being both introspective and interospective, taking that time to connect with this beautiful, peaceful place inside that we all have. And it's, now I do hour-long meditations, and I can't wait, like, oh my God, I'm going to this beautiful place. How exciting. And even for those who don't meditate, it could look like nutrition. It could look like, whatever your morning routine I actually am not behind the chair so much anymore. I am leading my team. And so it's beautiful because I get to help them organize a career that is honoring them. And so what I teach them, like every day we have a morning huddle. We kind of, talk about what happened. It's very quick, what happened the day before, what's happening today. We then go around giving each other gratitude, because gratitude is such an important thing to practice in life. It literally, your brain sends signals to the body that release healing hormones that give you not only more healing, but more vitality, just by having a grateful thought. And also because you and I are both very into Dr. Joe Dispenza, he says gratitude is the ultimate receivership.
Oh,
And
I
I never
love
thought of
that one.
right.
Thank you for saying that. He just reheard that yesterday, and that is so powerful.
I never thought about it because especially being Egyptian, I'm thought, people can't do things for you. No, it's okay. You don't have to do this. Mm-hmm. I never really broke it down to wait, when you're open and grateful, that is the ultimate receivership. You have to shift that energy. And so we give gratitude, and then we do our daily energy medicine routine that is a series of stretching, breathing, tapping, and just becoming mindful, protecting our aura, that electromagnetic field around our body, and just preparing ourselves for the day. And so I can bring that into this space. And then, teaching different techniques where if you're just really feeling drained energetically because somebody who's really suffering came into your chair and just really took a lot of energy from you, what can you do quickly to step in the bathroom and just do some deep breathing, some tapping, some, just reminding yourself that you are loved and you are valued and you are seen. Like, what can you do to kind of shift for yourself in that moment so that you can go back out and not be operating on empty?
Amazing. I love that. That's so incredible. Yeah, I guess that's kind of bringing us into my next topic as far as, mindfulness. And is there any way that you maybe support your stylist to support their client in connecting with themselves, and what does that look like? Like, what for maybe those clients that are out there, or those guests that are out there that are going to go in to get their hair done? What can we tell them to maybe maximize their experience? Or what are some of the things that you invite your stylists in your salon to, how to interact with their guests that come in?
Yeah, so I feel like if you teach people something that really helps them feel good and experience life more fully, first of all, that's just going to show, right? And they can determine how to deliver the information. Yes, I used to be a little more controlling and realized I have to really let go and let it flow. And if only we could tell people what's good for them. But like right now, I'm doing a mindfulness mentor certification, which is very different than what I've done before, which is teaching and coaching. And in this, you actually say much less. And that is something I needed to learn. And you really allow for the person's wisdom to come through. But I will say, as you know, just from a mindfulness practice, that the best way to influence anyone is to be that thing, and let people get curious and ask questions and be open to it on their own time and in their own way.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
And sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
What I was going to say, the other thing that we do is the energy medicine, because again, that came from the pandemic, that we could touch people even when their families couldn't. So at the time I was getting the Eden Energy Medicine certification, and I thought, oh my gosh, we could really help people calm their nervous system down, because so much of what we experience is about calming the nervous system and making sure that our brain is engaged not in the amygdala and the limbic brain where it's, fight, flight, but more in the, prefrontal cortex where we're analytical and we can think things through and be much more calmer. And I thought if we could touch people in the right way during the cleansing session, or as Inner Sense calls it, the cleansing ritual, which I so appreciate, then we could, and invite them into some breathing, we could help them calm down and regulate and feel good being in the space. And it really worked. Even the people who are like, sure, Wafaya, yeah, what are you up to now? These are people, who work for the CDC, the National Institutes of Health, very left brain. And so even they come in now. It's like, I've been looking forward to this whole week, because they are feeling better when we do these things. So that's another way that we've brought it in.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's so incredible. I mean, we were just in Austin at Miraval together at our Founders Summit, and we had the pleasure of being able to learn from you as far as some of your techniques, energy medicine techniques, which I absolutely love. And you just mentioned kind of some of it, but what would a guest kind of be able to expect coming in, if they were sitting in one of your stylist chairs or going to the shampoo bowl to get their hair shampooed, the little extras that you do? Like, can you mention some of the specifics of that?
So, if you think about it, the majority of communication is an energetic exchange.
Mm-hmm.
So I teach that, and I'm onboarding a new team member today, actually, and talking about that. So the first thing is that we say welcome the minute anyone walks in the door with a smile. And I've seen people walking in with slumped shoulders and kind of looking constricted, and completely open up and smile when we do that. Mm-hmm. Because we want them to know that they're welcome and they're seen and they matter. And so just that. Mm-hmm. And then we take them back for the consultation. I train people to sit and face them with eye contact. Mm-hmm. And just energetically creating that safe space. So that's really important for them to feel safe. And then when we take them to the cleansing bowl, we use the harmonic healing oil as the base, and we use different essential oils. We ask them if they want to be relaxed or invigorated, and then we'll do like a massage with some, again, holding certain points on the head, and invite them to take in deep breaths and exhale, and do that for about 2 or 3 minutes. And so that brings a little more of the relaxation and calming as well.
That's amazing. I feel like I definitely want to book a service with one of your stylists for sure.
We'll do it when you come. No problem.
Yeah, I will, definitely. So, I mean, you are such a leader, Wafaya, and such a forerunner in our industry, and the things that you are doing are so cutting edge, and just you're a pioneer in the space, in the beauty space. What message or what would you hope to leave fellow stylists, and specifically like the next generation of holistic beauty practitioners that are really kind of moving all of these things forward?
Well, first of all, thank you for the high praise. I really appreciate it. And I feel Inner Sense is also cutting edge. I mean, just looking at the bottles and saying, take a deep breath and get centered and come to presence. I mean, beautiful. What I would say is twofold. One would be really work on your relationship with yourself. That is the one you keep with you from the day you're born beyond.
Mm-hmm.
And so really figure out how to be with you and honor and love that person. And I believe that when you're in that space, as things reveal themselves to you in the integrative and holistic field, trust it and run with it. And let go of the judgment. Let go of the judgment, because you will be judged. People won't like everything you're doing. But no matter what you're doing, that's going to happen. So you may as well be satisfied in the process. And like you attract the right people, and those people are going to make the difference in your life. And I really appreciated at Summit, Morgan, your daughter wasn't feeling good for a minute. And I loved one of your team came with pills, and I'm like, oh, can I help? And you knew I was going to use energy medicine. I love, it's the first time in my life I've had where you kind of said no to your team with the pills. We're going to go with this.
Yeah.
I said, my girl right there. Yeah.
Well, and then if I remember correctly, you were on Morgan's right side and I was on her left, and you were directing me to specific spots, and I had a moment of learning as well. So that was wonderful.
And she got up. It's funny because she was all like, oh my God, I don't know. And suddenly she's like, I need to go to the bathroom. And it's like, well, I guess it worked.
Definitely. And then we had all that breath work the next day that helped us clear and cleanse. And yeah, that was wonderful.
Amazing.
That was amazing. Well, speaking of all your wisdom and, all the lessons that you've learned, if you were able to whisper one piece of advice into the ear of your younger self, what do you think that would be? Like if you...
I would whisper, choose love. Choose love for yourself and choose love for others. Every time you're feeling constricted and scared and judgmental and all the things that come with the human experience, work your way into the heart and choose love.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Oh, I'll take that too. Gorgeous. That's amazing. Well, just as we're wrapping up, of course, I have to bring in my trust your inner sense. So right now in this season of your life, what does trusting your inner sense mean to you?
Yeah, it's really funny because 2 people sent me podcasts, the same podcast, about kind of speaking telepathically.
Oh,
yeah, I'll share it with you.
I might know where you're going with this, but yeah, tell me.
Well, no, trusting your inner sense. I mean, our body, our mind, our spirit does speak to us, and it's having the courage to investigate. So where I'm at, I just turned 60 this year, and so where I'm at is being okay with not knowing and being confident and being curious. And so when if you feel something, there's a reason for it. You may not know. Now, oftentimes we'll go off the deep end and get accusatory or tell a narrative that isn't serving. But if you do feel some kind of discomfort or some kind of weird vibe, I would say take that seriously. This is what I'm doing now. I remind myself all the time. And get curious and investigate.
I love that. Oh, this has been so much fun. Is there anything else that we didn't cover, Wafaya, that you feel like you want to leave our listeners with, or anything, that comes to mind? I feel like we covered a lot, and of course I'm going to have to continue to have you back because I know that there's going to be more of this and more of, moving the industry forward in such a positive way. And I'm so honored and feel so amazing that you are able to, be in our community and have impact, wherever you show up. So thank you so much, Wafaya. I really appreciate your time.
Oh, thank you so much. And as far as saying anything to our industry, is remember we each have these incredible gifts that we're here to share. And please tap into that and bring that beauty. Beauty is beyond what's external. Just bring that beauty. And Joanne, thank you for being who you are. I mean, I knew if I was going to partner up with a company in this realm, it was going to be Inner Sense. And it's because of you. This is how you've always been. And I just so appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you, Wafaya. Well, enjoy your day, and I'll look forward to seeing you sometime this weekend.
Wonderful.
I
Thank you
can't
so
wait.
much.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me for today's episode, dear friends. I would be thrilled to hear which part resonated with you the most. Your reflections on today's topic and how it sparked action in your life mean a lot to me. Feel free to share your thoughts at podcasts@innersensebeauty.com or leave a review. I look forward to you coming back next week to explore another exciting topic together. If you'd like to dive deeper, be sure to check out the show notes for some valuable links. Until we meet again, take good care of yourself. Know that you are surrounded by love and always trust your inner sense. Wishing you all the best, friends.